Why do we fall?
So that we can learn to pick ourselves up.
Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage and here we are with movie number 21 in the MCU, the very first that is led by a female superhero. Captain Marvel was directed by the couple Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, who also co-wrote the screenplay together with Geneva Robertson-Drowrett. Like other MCU directors before, Boden and Fleck are coming from the indie cinema realm, and this is their first big blockbuster. First and foremost, it's a studio film, a Marvel film through and through that neatly blends into the overarching universe. For better and for worse, but mostly for better, because overall it's a very entertaining, fun superhero adventure flick with some standout performances, well-injected humor and some truly great moments. But does it stand out in any particular way, and were Boden and Fleck able to leave their personal mark, give the film their specific flavor? I don't really think so. They did a decent job, but I'm pretty sure it's not a movie that will excite you with its unique style and visual flair. There are some beautiful shots in the film, but even then the movie is very safe, or to put it more critical, quite generic when it comes to the filmmaking choices. Something that stood out, even if just a little bit, was the score, which was composed by Pina Toprak, which made her the first female composer of the MCU. It has some nice electronic touches to it, a little bit reminiscent of the score to Thor Ragnarok. But let's jump back to the start, and this will be of course a review without any spoilers. Captain Marvel tells the story of Carol Danvers, played by Oscar winner Brie Larson. She's a human jet pilot who is suffering from amnesia, who is living on the Kree homeworld of Hala, and who's fighting under the name of Veers in the intergalactic strike team Star Force against the evil shape-shifting Skrulls. If that sounds like some sweaty comic book nerd stuff, rightfully so, but it's a wonderful accomplishment that the superhero film today can be just that, a wild sci-fi fantasy superhero story with strange alien races and planets without being apologetic about it. Captain Marvel is an origin story, but it's told in a slightly different way. I don't think all of it works and it should have been a lot more tragic and moving, but for the most part it captured my interest and didn't let go for the surprisingly short runtime of just 2 hours, credits already included. It's an origin story at which beginning our hero already has her powers, but it's not just us as the audience who doesn't know how she got them or who exactly she is, comic book readers excluded of course, but the character of Captain Marvel herself doesn't either. She has been living and fighting with the Kree for 6 years by now, but everything that came before that is unknown to her. There are just some fragments, and those fragments are shown to us in what I thought was a very cool mind interrogation scene. This isn't a movie that will delve deep into her past, show us her training in the Air Force, show us how she made friends and became the person who she is now. There are just some brief snippets, and maybe that's not much to really explore her character, but it was enough to give me an idea of what she must have been like before she lost her memory, and also show me what she lost. Now I do think her character arc could have been stronger, because honestly she isn't changing all that much throughout the film. Maybe it would have been good to emphasize her vulnerable side more, to make her feel more lost in the world. But in the actual adventure in the film, she is very much in power from beginning to end. For her hero moment at the end to really feel super cathartic, she's a little bit too much of a powerful ass kicker from the get-go. But what I took away from her arc, even if it should have been made more clear, was the reason why she's fighting. For a very long time she's just going along with what's happening around her, and only later she sees the true meaning, the true reason why to fight, and I liked that. And I also enjoyed the idea to set the story in the 90s. Not only is it a nice way to give us something different before the epic Avengers Endgame finale, but it's also a different angle to expand the MCU's lore some more, and of course it's a good opportunity for some 90s nostalgia and some funny references. And I think they keep a good balance. The songs they picked fit the tone, and they don't overdo it with the jokes, though they are coming very close to it. But the very best thing about it is that we get a young Nick Fury, who's still played by a 70-year-old Samuel Jackson, but through the help of modern technology we see a young guy on screen. And not only is the effect frighteningly good, but the movie also treats him as a younger character. It's not just the same Nick Fury we already know, only looking younger, but he acts slightly different, and Samuel L. Jackson is enjoying the role so much that he's without a doubt the liveliest, funniest character of the film. Him and Brie Larson have great chemistry, and on top of getting some fish out of water elements with her getting back to Earth without remembering much about the place and its people, it also has this buddy movie feeling to it. First, it's her and her Kree friend and combat buddy Jon Rock, played by Jude Law, and then later it's Nick Fury. There is also Lashana Lynch's character Maria Rambeau, who used to be her best friend in her past life before she lost her memory. There isn't that much meat to their relationship, but the little snippets and also the fantastic performance by Lynch were enough to give me all the feels I needed. In just a few scenes together, their strong friendship came alive for me, and it was at that place with Maria's little daughter that the film felt very empowering to me. But the biggest joy to watch was without a doubt Ben Mendelsohn. He's always good. I loved him as the pathetic villain in last year's Ready Player One, and I loved him in Captain Marvel as the leader of the Skrulls. The Skrulls in general really grew on me throughout the film. I think the story could have done more with their ability to shapeshift, but the way they interacted with each other and with the other characters was really rewarding. Lee Pace, on the other hand, who is returning as Ronan the Accuser, is totally wasted. I think that many people think of him as one of the MCU's weaker villains, but I always liked him a lot in Guardians of the Galaxy, and I was looking forward to see him again in this. But his role is so small and so insignificant that he can't make any impact whatsoever. And without spoiling anything, Ronan plays a small part in the finale, but even there he's not able to do anything important because, and here comes a problem many movies of this kind have, our hero is shown to be quite strong throughout the whole film. The action scenes are mostly fine, though nothing groundbreaking and unfortunately nothing that really embraces that 90s car chase hand-to-hand combat vibe. But there are barely any moments where you are afraid that something could really go wrong. You barely ever feel that someone is really in danger. I was invested enough in the story to see where it goes, but I wish I would have been at the edge of my seat, because the action was that visceral, or the stakes and tension that high. But they weren't. And the film has this little arc of Carol getting to unleash her true powers, but on one hand she's very powerful to begin with, and on the other hand, once she does kick into full gear, there's really nobody able to take her down. I mean, it can be nice to see her unleash all her superpowers, but it doesn't really create much tension. Also, some of the fighting in the finale is shot and edited in a way that makes it really hard to fully appreciate what exactly is going on, because it gets quite dark and muddled. When it comes to Brie Larson's performance, I was split. Sometimes I felt she came across as a bit wooden and uncomfortable, but then I wasn't so sure if that wasn't intentional and fitting her role as this lost hero who hasn't found her real place yet. So, in German I'd say, Captain Marvel ist nicht unbedingt der spannendste, eindrucksvollste oder besonderste Superheldenfilm, aber er macht trotzdem verdammt viel Spaß, die Geschichte ist interessant, der Humor wirklich stark und die Schauspieler und die Chemie zwischen den Charakteren passen. I give Captain Marvel 7 out of 10. It's more like 7.1, but I don't do that. Alright, that's it like always. Comment below and let me know what you think about Captain Marvel. You can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram simply at TheJimmyCage. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like, and make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.